What's up, guys? It's your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Pickdroppers, back at it again with a Week 11 post-game thoughts video. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over some of Week 11's games and my thoughts on the outcome. Now, the first game I really want to talk about is the Green Bay Packers versus the Washington Redskins. Now, I was really surprised by the outcome of this game. I did think it would be a shootout, but I was kind of surprised how well Kirk Cousins played. He looked like a really good quarterback, and Green Bay's defense looked horrible. And Green Bay's really looking like they might miss the playoffs, and that could be huge. And nobody would have guessed that, and it might be because of their defense. I mean, their defense has just looked horrific in the past couple of weeks. So that's definitely something to look out for. I still think they will make the playoffs. Just because of Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers is one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So I do think he will be able to bring home the playoff, get a playoff berth. I don't know how, though, because the Washington Redskins are right now in the 6th seed, and they look like they're probably going to win that spot. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I still think that Aaron Rodgers will be able to make the playoffs. But it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens for the rest of the year. Now, the next game I really want to talk about is Carolina versus New Orleans. Now, that was the Thursday night game, and it was definitely a very interesting game. And I was surprised that Carolina won that game. I did think New Orleans was going to win that game. And Carolina's defense played great. New Orleans didn't play as well. Both teams looked meh. They didn't look too good. And Carolina winning, if they can go on a very long win streak, they might be able to do something. Now, I don't think they will, but, they might have a chance. There's still enough time. So that's definitely going to be interesting to look out for. But I still think that Carolina will not make the playoffs. And Carolina, as I said, didn't look too well. Didn't play too well. And Cam Newton had only 192 yards passing. Jonathan Stewart only had 31 yards rushing. And those are definitely not numbers you want to see. You definitely want to see higher numbers. But that's definitely very interesting things to look out for in the next upcoming weeks. Now, the next game I really want to talk about is Baltimore versus Dallas. I did think Dallas was going to win. And Baltimore's defense is definitely looking really good, even though they did end up getting the loss. They definitely look like a formidable opponent, and I didn't think they would do too well against Dallas, and I'm really surprised with what they were able to do. They were able to slow Dallas down, even though Zeke got 97 yards rushing. In the first half, Ezekiel Elliott looked like he was shut down. Joe Flacco was probably the problem. Joe Flacco and his offense. Terrence West only got 42 yards on the ground, and that's definitely going to be a problem for Washington going against Baltimore going against very good offenses, being able to score enough points. And it's definitely unfolding. Flacco not being an elite quarterback, and his offense being subpar. Now, the next game I want to talk about is Indianapolis versus Tennessee. Now, this is a little bit under the radar game, but Indianapolis winning the game really puts them in a really good position to win their division, because at 5-5, they're only one game back of Houston, and this was a huge game for Tennessee. If Tennessee would have won that game, they would have been 6-5. They would have been half a game behind Houston for the division lead, and they would have just beaten a very interesting opponent that they haven't beaten in the last 7 years. And I was very surprised that they got the loss, especially the way they did. They got annihilated, and I don't know what they can do next time to be able to stop them, because that was just embarrassing. Indianapolis was actually up 21-0 before half. And that was definitely something very interesting to watch for. Another thing I was really surprised by is how good Indianapolis did through the air. Now, the running games for both teams were mediocre, but Tennessee dug themselves in a huge hole, and I think that was mainly the problem for Tennessee and why they lost the game. Now, I do think that Tennessee will be able to rebound, and I think they have a really good chance to win the division. But that game definitely did not help their chances of winning the division. Now the next game I want to talk about is the Kansas City Tampa Bay game. This will be the last game I talk about. I was very surprised by the outcome. I did not think that Kansas City was going to lose, and they lost to a really bad Tampa Bay team. Huge loss. They are now out of first place in their division, and they've moved down. They're still number one in the wild card, but they're not tied anymore for first place. With a win, they would have been tied for first. And their schedule, that was definitely one of the easier games on their schedule, and their schedule is definitely not going to get easier from here. That was definitely a very bad loss for them. I was very surprised the way they lost, and that they lost. And Tampa Bay, not really one of the better teams in the league, definitely is a team you have to beat, especially when you are, one, way better than them, and two, you're at home. So that was definitely very interesting to see. And I do think that Kansas City will still make the playoffs. They're a very good team. And I think it was just a fluke game. You know, the Steelers have also had some fluke games. Every team, every year, usually has one or two fluke games. And that's usually why the record looks so much worse than people think at the start of the year. But I do think they will be able to rebound. I think Tampa Bay is already out of the playoff race. You know, they're not looking too good to start the year. They're right now near the bottom of the pack. And they're right now 5-5, so it's mediocre. But I still don't think they'll make the playoffs. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and comment down below on what you'd like to see next. It's your boy Pickdroppers, and I'm out. Peace!